Christmas. It's December 25th, 2025, Christmas Day. Getting a little bit of a pre-workout meal, pre-workout shake. This is my first video, as you can tell by the title. I'm 16. Current weight, 188.0. Starting weight before the bulk was 183. And starting weight of the cut before this bulk was 245. Lost 60 pounds, 62 pounds in one summer, between sophomore year and junior year of high school. I was 245 of mostly fat. Ran like a 13-minute mile. Could only do like 10 push-ups. Only benching 135. It's pretty pathetic, really. But no, not pathetic. Just more room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. But some people have more, some people have less. Just kind of how it works. And I like to think that I did make that improvement. Just wanted to share a little bit today about my journey towards weight loss and my journey in fitness and where I'm at right now and my goals for the future for what I plan on doing. So, let's get into it a little bit. Like I said, I started at 245. I was very, very obese. You know what I mean? I probably am going to put up a picture here somewhere just showing some before pictures. I really had no muscle. I kind of just sat around all day. Just wasn't really doing anything with my life, and I was pretty, mentally distraught, I guess, would be the word. Just not really enjoying the fruits of life and what it has to offer. But then, I had always been around that 220 or 230 mark, but then as soon as I stopped doing, baseball and football, my weight really started to take off a little bit, and my one fear was that I would hit 250 pounds. I did not want to hit 250 pounds. That's a quarter of 1,000. You know what I mean? That's a lot of weight. And I wasn't super tall. I was like 5'10", 5'11". But and then over summer, I just decided that day, it's time to lock in. It's time to start putting in the work. And I wouldn't say I necessarily did it right. I tried to watch Jeff Nippard, my Kizertel, but I just cut my calories. I downloaded Macro Factor. I started doing that every day, every meal. Nothing I put into my body was not tracked. I bought a kitchen scale. Started working out in my basement because I didn't have a way to get to my local gym. I just started grinding. I worked out 6 days a week. Push-pull legs. Still do, but you have a different routine now. And then, one thing that really helped me at the beginning all the way to the end was walking. I walked every day. I live in a pretty rural place, so roads aren't super busy, so it's pretty safe for me to walk. In the beginning, it was just 8,000 steps. Something manageable. 8,000 steps in a workout, and then on the 7th day of the week, rest. Still walk, though. And then, I lost my first 10 pounds. It took me like 3 weeks. And then after that, everything just started kind of clicking, 230, 220, you know what I mean? I can probably pull up, pictures of my weight charts, you know what I mean? There are times when it's going like this and it's going to come back up a little bit and it's going to drop, but it'll always drop if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing your cardio, tracking your calories, making sure that all your ducks are in a row, you know what I mean? You just gotta make sure that you're not lying. Most importantly, that you're not lying to yourself, because you can lie to others, but what good will it do to lie to yourself? You know what I mean? Because if you're not being honest with yourself, you're having a cookie. You're having two cookies. Well, then you ruined it. You ruined your good day. You know what I mean? And if you just track it and then move on and make sure you don't do it again, you're set. You know what I mean? You'll be able to. You'll get there. You know, a lot of times I would get impatient. So, like I said, I started, at 2,000, 1,500 calories in the beginning. Or, no, I started at 2,000. And then almost after a week, I wasn't losing as much weight as I wanted to, as fast as I wanted to. I was losing like a pound a week, 2 pounds a week. Well, I wanted to lose, 5 pounds a week. So I dropped my calories 1,500 after a week. And then I was able to do that for like, a couple, like, I don't know, maybe a month. And then right after that, I dropped it to 1,200 calories. And the weight just started flying off, you know what I mean? And then I started really researching every YouTube video I watched, every YouTube short, every long form video, every second I had, I was researching better workouts, what meals to eat, and most importantly, how to lose weight faster. Well, one of the big things, lower your salt, so that way you're not retaining as much water. That was big. Lower your carbs. Not keto. I think a balanced diet is the best way to approach it. That's how I approached it. Was making. I didn't cut out carbs completely, because really the only weight that you're losing when you cut out carbs completely, people say they lost 50 pounds from keto. Some of it was fat, but a lot of it was water. Every 1 gram of carbs is 3 grams of water, and so it adds up very quickly. So, it's a little bit not real weight, I guess. Well, it's real weight, but it's not. You know what I'm trying to say. It's not fat, that you're dropping. And then so as I kept going, then we got to end of June, out of school. Well, now it's really time to hit the hammer. You know what I mean? So school's got out. Okay, now we're starting 15,000 steps a day, 6 days of lifting a week. Drop my calories down to 1,000. I did that for quite some time. I got down pretty low. I don't remember exact weights, probably low 200s. And then towards the end there, I started dropping down to like 800, towards like July, end of July, you know what I mean? And I upped my steps, I went from 15 to 20,000 in like July, and then end of July, I upped it up to 25,000 a day. It was a big jump. And 25,000 steps a day is a lot. It takes a pretty heavy toll on your body. I was exhausted constantly, very angry constantly. I wasn't really have a lot of food in my body, so I would be very snappy, very irritable, very kind of aggressive. I was sleeping a lot, you know what I mean? I would try and take a nap every day because just so tired all the time. I did manage to put on some strength though. I did gain some muscle. I'll show progress photos throughout as I keep talking about this, show a progress photo from when I was like 230, 220. But once I got down lower, I did realize I was still gaining strength, which was very fortunate. I'm glad I didn't lose muscle because it's, when you're not eating a lot, it's easy for your body to kind of go into when you run out of fat reserves, your body's going to go into the muscles. So, but no, I managed to gain strength. My bench went up from 135 to 185 by the beginning of summer, and then by the end of summer I was 195. Right now we're very close to 205 on bench, probably at like 204-ish, you know what I mean? Like last couple times I've tried it, I get it 3/4 of the way, but then it doesn't go, so. But I haven't hit it yet. Most I've hit so far is 201. I hit it in my basement. My basement's got some weird weights down there. 33-pound plates, 22-pound plates, 11-pound plates, just odd stuff. But anyways, then I started having, when I was at 800 calories a day and 25,000 steps, this was, August, at the end, I was at like, I don't know, 190. That was always my goal, get down to 190. I was at like 195 probably. I needed to lose those couple extra pounds, and I would sit in my hot tub for like an hour to 2 hours every morning to try and sweat off extra weight. And then I ended up blowing my calories to 600. So all I would do is at around 7 a.m., get up, weigh myself, sit in the hot tub for 2 hours, eat a huge meal. Well, obviously not a huge meal. Eat a big meal. So it was about like half pound of turkey, protein shake, that's 500 calories, and maybe a little bit of rice, maybe. That was all I'd have for the rest of the day. Only other things I'd have were Mountain Dew Zeros. I have a big sweet tooth. I love my sweets. So Mountain Dew Zero was huge for me. And I would have like, just water, water. Mountain Dew Zeros, Gatorade Zeros were very big. A lot of Gatorade Zeros and a lot of Mountain Dew Zeros and ice waters. All very low calorie, low sugar. Great options for craving that sweet tooth. And then by like August 30th, I was down to 188, and I called it quits. I realized it's time to be done. I wanted to get down to 180, but man, I was so mentally and physically exhausted. School was about to start up. I realized I could not keep up with 25,000 steps a day, plus, barely any food, really. So, yeah, I ended up starting to maintain. I maintained for like a month or so, but I made some big gains. I'll show, so I'll show the end of my cut versus, there's some pretty good progress, obviously. A lot of weight loss, but then I really packed on some muscle because I started going to the Y. I finally got my driver's license, so I was able to go. I still go. I go at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, and then they don't open till like 7 on Saturdays, so I do that. And yeah, and then I realized I want to put on some mass. You know what I mean? I want to get some size, so that's why I'm bulking right now, up like 5-ish pounds. I peaked at 190, 192 the day after Thanksgiving, but I'm back down to like 188. Basketball makes it hard to put on mass because I'll eat 5,000 calories some days, and then I'll eat, which isn't the recommended that Macrofactor gives me. Macrofactor says eat like 3,000, so I do that, but then I end up going back down a little bit in weight. So yeah, my goal is get back up to like 210, 215 maybe. I want to do that by like March or April, excuse me. And then I want to cut for the summer, get back down to like 180, but just shredded, you know what I mean? Shredded to the teeth. And my goals for the future, I want a 225 bench by March, 225 before I turn 17. That'd be pretty cool. It gives me about 3 months to do it. Yeah, 3 months. I think my squat right now, I haven't maxed out. I think it's probably sitting pretty around 350, maybe 360. I have to max out and see, but so my goal for that is I want 405 by the start of my senior year, and then deadlift I want like 495 hopefully, by the end of senior year. Give myself some time, because I think I can probably deadlift like probably right around 405 right now. So those are the goals planned for today. Get a little Christmas lift, hit some legs. Y is closed today, so we're hitting a basement lift, which actually works out well because I'm not allowed to record at the Y. Not allowed to record my lifts, so following videos won't include any lifts in them. It'll just be pre-lift, post lift, maybe some meal days if that fits in. I'm gonna hit legs in about 30-ish minutes. Been squats, leg extensions, hamstring curls. You get the gist, pretty basic leg stuff. All the good stuff. And hit some pose down afterward. And then, yeah, maybe talk about the lift afterwards. Maybe not. See how it goes. But see you guys in like 30 minutes. Oh, a little cardio after.
All right, time for the lift. You walk downstairs. What do you see? Boom, cardio bike. Stand so quick. All right, time to get a lift. $275, 45, 33, 22, 11, 5 and a half. All right, take your call there. Move on to a little bit of RDLs
think this is as much weight as I have. I don't really have any more. Next leg day at the Y, I'll try for 315 for 46. I don't know. The depth is a little shaky on that, but I'm gonna attribute that to that my knees hurt today because it's a little cold outside. It's an excuse, but I feel like it's a valid one because if you get a creaky knee, it's a little hard to squat to full depth. And I'm also going to attribute that to no safety bars here. So I don't really have a gauge where my depth is supposed to be. And also a little nerve-wracking going all the way down with no safety bars because and also concrete floor. I don't want to drop and crack the concrete floor. So a couple excuses, but I feel that they're valid. Anyways, RDL time. Alright, just did a warm-up set with 135 for just 10, 225. Probably gonna do this for 6. Then I'm gonna jump to 275 for 6. I'll probably do 2 sets of 275. Yeah. Do some leg extensions. So I'm gonna do 5 on one side, 5 on the other side, 5 on the first side, 5 on the second side, and then I'm gonna do double leg extensions. I'm gonna do 2 sets of those. Last set. Let's get a good set in. Class up. Alright. Time to use our lovely laying hamstring curl machine. There we go. There we go. We'll do this out of 10. I don't really know. I haven't used this bad boy in a while, so see if the weight is too light, which it might be, but we'll do like 10 or 12. See how we go. Do 2 to 3 sets of this, depending on how we feel. And we'll do calf raises, but I don't have a machine, so I'll figure something out. But that's for future me to worry about. Time for hamstring curls now. Get a decision that was the last set of hamstring curls for today, and gonna move on to some calf raises. Gonna do some cardio type calves, you know, just hit them consistently for like 5 minutes straight. No weight or anything, just watching my phone, and then we'll call it a good workout.